We're now going to be working with our circle tool. I'm just going to show you how to cut circles from this piece of cardstock. Then I'm going to move on to the small ones, and I will then hopefully be able to show you this when it is dry. But I use the circles on all the layouts except the masculine one. So here are some half circles matted onto more half circles. Here you can see some concentric circles, thin ones, thicker ones, wider ones that I've cut from the patterned paper. And I also cut these. Okay, you can see there is that circle. I did add another layer so that mine is just obviously a bit darker than this one, but it's entirely up to you. And Erika, you can make yours darker if you want it darker when you receive it. Okay, so when you open your circle cutter, it's a very simple tool. If you break it, buy a new one. I don't know if you can even buy the blades anywhere. Yeah, you know, so it's really a simple little tool. It has instructions at the back. Okay, so it actually says remove the blade cover, which is that little thing. It's got a very sharp blade. Okay, replace after use to protect the blade in your fingers. Okay, so it says adjust the size of the circle by partially unscrewing and sliding the cutter carriage to the desired size. Press down the cutter and cut. I really want you to, I know they say that you can replace the blades. I don't know, I've never replaced one. Maybe you can replace it. So as far as the size goes, that's the little thing that you screw and you tighten it. You can see there it's nice and tight. To move it, you're going to unscrew it and you're going to slide it up and down. That's in the middle, and that's where you're going to cut your circle. So if you want to cut a 12-inch, there you can see it's got a little indicator. You're going to move it to the 12. Be careful of your fingers, don't do what I'm doing. And you're going to tighten it. Okay, so now you've got to bear in mind that this will be a 12-inch circle. You can see there I'm going to go over my page. Okay, so make sure that you get paper all the way. There I can feel that it's going off the page, so I need to move it a little bit. There I'm going off the page slightly. So just be careful. Okay, maybe 12 inches is a bit too big for my sample. I didn't use a 12-inch. I'm just going to move it in a little bit. There's about 11.5. Okay, so you're going to try and find the center of your page. That looks good to me. And you are simply moving it. I mean, it cannot be easier than this. Just look at that. Okay. So there's one circle. Now let's say you want to make one that is just smaller. The trick is, you saw me lift this now. You actually don't want to do that. That is my bad. I always do that. And then when I want to go back, I can't find the exact curvature again, or to the center again. So I don't use circle cutters a lot. They are a scrapper's friend. But yes, just don't lift your don't lift your center. But now I'm going to cut one that's a bit smaller. Okay, so hopefully that is center enough. You can see that I'm just cutting it, and it really cuts nice and easy. So let's do a nice thick one. Let's go down to 8 inches, about 20 centimeters. You tighten it, you're going to cut again. There we go, there's another circle. Okay, so you can make them as thick or as thin as you want. Let's do a really thin one. Let's go to, I don't know, round about there. That should be a nice thin one. So the thinner it gets, you've just got to press down really hard and make sure that you don't tear your paper, and you've got to work on a cutting mat obviously. But look at that, isn't it fabulous? Okay, so the smallest size that this will cut is a 4-inch. You can push it all the way to where the big circle is, and that's the size we're going to use for these. Okay, so tighten it and cut your 4-inch circle. Just look, you guys, isn't that fabulous? I do think that this is one of my favorite tools now. I haven't used it for a long time. So that's the smallest size that this circle cutter will cut. Okay, so just bear that in mind, but you can still do at least 2 or 3 or 4 from that. So you're gonna loosen your circle cutter. You're gonna move it all the way to 11 inches, which is about there, I think. This one is in increments of 2 inches, so that should be there. Once again, try and find the center. It's not the end of the world on this because it's so random, but you can see that I'm moving it. Oh yes, I did remove the cover there. Okay, and it wasn't even put on properly. You can just move this until you are happy you're going to get everything in. And now this is a very thick piece of paper, but the circle cutter is so effective. I think I only had to go through twice. If your paper is still damp or wet, it will not cut as effectively. Okay, but I do recommend, while you've got that center point, just run it through twice. Remove that, keep that in place, and now we're going to move this 1 inch, so it will be moved to 9 inches. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit wider or a little bit narrower, and I'm going to cut this in a piece. And just look at that. Now you've got a beautiful, beautiful custom made circle frame. I really like this. Look at that. And you can, I love this, you guys. I did ink the edges with some Delicata black shimmer. You can use any ink of your choice. It doesn't have to be Delicata. You can use the